Hello friends, welcome back. This is Nima. I'm making my card for Craft Roulette episode 306. And for this project we have a big card. It's an A7 5x7 with the summer dessert colors and the chalkboard, and for random a bottom border. This time for the chalkboard I'm gonna make my own paint, my own chalk paint. I'm using small cup, and then the acrylic paint and black, warm water. And there's many methods to make the DIY your chalk paint. I'm gonna use baking soda. The original recipe is like 1 cup of the paint, 1/3 cup of the water, and 1/3 cup of the plaster of Paris. I'm using the baking soda, so I'm reducing. And by the way, I'm reducing the proportion because I just need a little bit. So I'm going, it's kind of not too scientific method. I have made this paint in many colors many times, so I kind of know the consistency that I have to get. So I'm adding the warm water, and I'm using the baking soda. Since I'm using just a little bit, just like that's a very small baby spoon, a small amount of the baking soda. I'm not dissolving that first. If I'm making a large batch, I will dissolve the baking soda or the plaster of Paris or the calcium carbonate, whatever you want to use, in the water first, and then mix it with the paint. Um, Mix it very well, and the texture is a little velvety. You're gonna see that it has that consistency, that it's, you can see that the little texture of the baking soda. I'm adding a little more of baking soda because it was too liquidy, and that's where I play with that just to get the right consistency in here. And I'm gonna paint on a piece of paper that is mixed media, and I have taped that mixed media page. I cut this like a 9 by 9, a big size in here, just to make sure that I had a good area. That mixed media is from Michaels. It's a little thinner than the watercolor paper that I normally use, but not as thin as the cardstock. And the only thing with this is that you need to do multiple layers. This is gonna dry really gray the first time. So you need to go in layers, and you need to wait until that layer is completely dry to apply the next layer. I'm applying in here another layer because, as you can see in here, is gray, and I'm going in the other direction just so I can get a good cover in here. Another way to apply this is using like a sponge, so you don't get the lines of the brushes, the stroke of your brushes. But again, this is a small area. I'm not gonna worry too much about this, and I'm applying. I ended up applying um, 4 layers in here and waiting in between until it was really dry. So this is the way that it is now. It looks like it's dry, but it's still a little cold. So I'm gonna proceed with the next part in here, and this is the flowers. These are the flowers that I'm gonna use on the border. I'm using this stress oxide to paint these flowers. And the method that I use to paint in here is that I pick 2 colors per flowers, and some of these flowers, they're layered one on top of each other. So I'm going to start with the daisies in here, and I'm going to paint those. Those will be white, but they will have little details in yellow. And I paint from the center out. I pick 2 colors, and I go from the center out, and then after that I'm going to go on the petals, and I'm going to add in the center, in the middle, the lighter color, the bright yellow, and then that green will go kind of a little hint on every petal in here. That's the same method that I'm going to use for all my flowers. I'm going to paint some flowers in pink, and there are going to be other flowers in purple. And the leaves that I have in there, they'll be painted with the same method as well. I use those dabbers because for me, first I have them already loaded with a lot of paint. They're very saturated, and I put a label on them so I can um, see exactly. I mean, like I can keep it per color, and but you can use anything you want. As you can see in here, I'm applying the lighter color first, and then I go from the center out and on the tips. And I'm gonna do that for all my flowers, like I said. I'm not gonna um, go over every single flower because I have a lot of flowers and I cut and painted a lot more flowers than what I need. I painting all of them, and I'm gonna give it a little bit of dimension to these flowers. So I'm using this foam, craft foam, and that ball in there to create some dimension on the petals, and gluing all the layers and the center in here. At the in the center, um, I'm adding extra color, and I'm adding glue on the borders just to make sure that it is completely attached. But also later on, actually what I did is that I put a foam tape just to keep it raised in there, and I did that with the flowers that they had the center. This is completely dry and it looks so cool, but unfortunately I have to cut it because it's not um, the right size. Once I cut my piece in here, I'm gonna mount it on my card that it is a 5 by 7, and I'm adding also a border that I cut on craft paper, and I didn't put any extra um, colors on the craft paper because I wanted to keep it like the border of the board without taking too much away from the board itself and everything else. So you'll see the border that it is just craft paper, and attaching just the border, regular borders on my board. But I'm gonna put even on the bottom where I'm gonna have um, the flowers, I'm gonna have that border in. Once I put all the borders in here, I'm gonna trim the extra pieces that I have. As you can see, I push everything to the right hand side, but I go and trim anything that it is hanging. And once I have everything glued in here, um, I looked at the blackboard and it was too plain because I'm gonna put that thank you in there, but it looks really plain. So I decided to add some splatters, kind of pretending that it is like the chalk. When you write on the chalk, that you get those, even if you clean it really well. If it's the original one, you're always gonna get those speckles in there. So let's dry that, making sure that it is completely dry, just a little bit of heat in there so I can put the thank you. I'm not gonna glue the thank you until the very end, but I'm gonna put it in there because I want to keep in mind the area where that thank you, which is really big, will go. The flowers, they are really big and bold, but I kind of love them. I like them. They're kind of a statement with that thank you in there. So I went to I I mix and match the flowers. I try to create the best scene as possible. And I know I didn't use all of them because there were way too many, but I tried to cover as much as possible. I'm gonna glue all my flowers in here and I will be back. Now that all my flowers are in place, finally I'm gonna glue the message, the thank you message in here. This message is a quite big message in here, and that's pretty much the last part of my card. To add this message, the thank you. With this, we have the card completed. I hope you like my card, and I hope you at least you enjoy a little bit or learn a little bit about the process of making your own chalk paint, which I use in here. I tried to put another flower, but I decided that it was too much. I had a lot of flowers, so I ended up adding some embellishment in here. This little dots, white dots, that they will capture your attention a little bit, but without taking away from the message itself. So this is my card, and I hope you like it. And don't forget that Craft Roulette goes live at 7:10 Eastern Standard Time. I have my A7. I have the chalkboard. I have the borders that is flowers and the colors. Bye.